In our language of contracting out there, we don't use call my lawyer, you're in breach of contract. The heating's wrong, the electrical's wrong, we have issues with structure.
It was supposed to take 6 weeks originally.
How can you go from 6 weeks to 3 weeks?
That turned into, 6 months now?
You're held hostage because they have your house, in shambles.
Things are happening. What do you do then?
I was ready to beat this guy up. I'm like, you're destroying our house. We have paid you.
And what do? We are going to do one hell of a lot of damage. Mike Holmes, look at this. Is that garbage or what? Look, you buggers, they haven't vented anything. This is ridiculous. Everything is wrong. I've decided now to gut it. Take it all down.
Mike Holmes, I love you.
Me too. You want a good job to keep you in shape? I'll be a contractor. Unacceptable. God, I love my job.
This is my parents' house. When Carl and I got married, we decided to stay with my parents for a while. Then we had Bella.
Bella was a beautiful surprise. She wasn't planned.
When you do certain things, honey, you get pregnant.
When we had her, we realized that it'd be better for us and for her to stay here, at least for a little while.
This originally was an uninsulated, just a back area where we stored everything. My parents said that they would tear it down and build a bedroom for her. So my parents told us to look around for contractors.
Our first mistake, I guess, would be
we looked through the paper.
Found him in the newspaper. But he came out, took a look, gave us a quote. Very personable, had the whole smiles and shaking the hand, very polite. I called a few other people. The first guy I went with was cheaper. So I think that we got trapped by thinking that we're gonna get the same quality for a little bit less of a price.
Why don't we start off by taking a walk around the back and taking a look at what's been done here.
Okay.
A little cold today.
Not bad.
I'm not a lover of cold.
We had spoken to him before our daughter was born, and then he did the drawings up. It was supposed to take 6 weeks originally, and he said, well, because it's taken so long, then I'm gonna put a rush on it. We are going to escalate everything, and everything's gonna be done faster than before.
Smooth, but it's a red flag. How can you go from 6 weeks to 3 weeks?
I go, maybe they can, that would be great, but that turned into, 6 months now?
Yeah, the 6 weeks was blown out the window. The first guy that we hired, he labeled himself as an architect with a contracting company. And then just before he started the job, he says, I subcontracted another contractor. So this subcontractor is gonna do the work and I'm gonna oversee it.
So this is the hallway leading in?
The hallway, that's supposed to be a closet there.
I don't like this already. What'd they tell you they were gonna give you for doors in your closet?
They didn't.
I see we have incredible moisture build up in here. Look at, we already have mold coming across the edge. My concern there is that it's gotten in behind the drywall, so we will have to take a look at that. Oh, this is great signs here. We are completely saturated. I noticed they did not caulk on the outside. More than likely, that's where it's coming from, any driving rain. Look at the mold buildup we have in the windowsill. So if we see it here, we know it's in behind this drywall, so immediately this wall comes down.
These people come in, they tear down your place. Now you're held hostage because they have your house, in shambles. All the costs and everything have been discussed and we've all agreed upon it and everything. And then the first thing that they go to do, boom, there's an extra cost.
Here we go again. These snakes starting off, getting in the door, and charging more money immediately.
He came to us and said, listen, I need these checks, I need them to be certified.
Red flag number 2.
And instead of putting the checks into the company's name, to write it personally to his name.
Red flag number 3.
Basically, within the first week, we handed out checks totaling over $9,000.
Then this contractor says, well, Carl, I've ordered the windows and the door, so I'm gonna need another $6,500.
Yeah.
And Carl's, well, how could you order doors and windows? We haven't picked any out.
Get rid of them. Right at the beginning, stop dealing with bad guys. If the red flags start happening, your job right from the beginning, it didn't start on time, it's starting to turn upside down, get rid of them. You're gonna lose. One way or the other, you're gonna lose. Now, what about the inspector on this one? How many times does he come in and take a look at this?
The inspector came out one time. He did a little sketch on the back of one of the plans because they were missing some beams. I guess they had it spaced too far apart. So he had wanted them to put in some extra beams.
Well, these are engineered floor joists. Did you plan for a second-story addition in the future?
Nope.
Nope.
Why the hell does he? This is for floor joists. This is not for.
See, I saw that on the wood. It said floor, and I thought, okay, maybe it's a misprint. They must know what they're doing. And my dad said the same thing. He goes, why does it say floor on the side of those wood panels?
Wow, you got a hell of a lot of frost buildup on the bottom of this sheeting. Insulation right off the bat is not enough. There should be an R40 up here, at minimum an R30. That's quite a lot of frost. It tells me we have heat loss going up and we have a moisture buildup inside. With it being so cold outside, it's making frost, which just turns to moisture and it's going to rot. That's why we have to do attics properly, so we don't have that. It's a shame because I do see some neat things. You know, the drywallers are neat, but these are the guys that probably make the bad guys look good.
They had also started removing roof shingles
Yeah.
from the house. It was pouring out.
Wherever it found an opening, that's where the water went.
It was raining in the kitchen. It was raining in our bedroom. I called the contractor.
She calls a contractor.
Can't get a hold of him. I call the subcontractor. I can't get a hold of the contractor. Can you please send somebody out? It's raining in our house, literally. He said, well, I'd like to help you, but we haven't been paid.
Guy number one hires guy number two to do the job. Guy number two says guy number one didn't pay him. We're leaving. Guy number one says, oh, don't worry about this, I paid him, we're gonna deal this out.
So I was ready to
Freaked
beat this
out.
guy up.
She
He
can't
had to
find
hold
out.
me back. I'm like, you're destroying our house. We have paid you.
And what do? You're held hostage, your backyard's all dug up, your life's already in, things are happening. What do you do then?
Now at this point, the subcontractor
Is right in our face.
Is right in his face, going,
jeez, I can't
well, what do you
believe
want to
this is
do?
happening.
What do you want to do? Do you want my
Pressure.
guys to finish the roof, and then you decide?
And of course we want the guy to finish the roof. I mean, hell, we don't want our roof.
We don't want it to rain in the house again.
I mean, what the hell, what else are we gonna say?
We now signed a new contract with the subcontractor.
And this time we tried to do it right. We got references for his work and we called up his references. The only thing that I learned later on is that you should actually go and see work that they've done.
Oh, she's
Bella, how are you?
Say hello to the world, Bubba.
We're just gonna take a look at your ductwork, make sure it's run right, which I bet it isn't.
That's the damage done because of the rain on the ceiling tile.
Where'd they run the duct line out? I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
And where'd they feed this off of?
This one was the one that went into our bedroom.
They spit into your bedroom.
This used to go in the bedroom, but then they
took off of
took it
this.
outside.
You
Yeah.
can't do that. You've got to take off the main trunk and run 2 new lines in, at least 2 new lines. We have the hallway, we have the bedroom.
They took,
Are you telling me what to do? Should we fix this?
So they took one here and then 2 from the kitchen upstairs.
How did they take from that duct line when they didn't do it from downstairs?
They punched a hole in the wall.
They stole off airflow that would actually bring down the heat inside the house.
Yeah.
All right, now you got me thinking electrical here. How did they tie in electrical? Did they go to your panel?
Yes.
Oh, did they go
Yeah,
to
he
the
did check out the panel. But
He
when
checked out the panel. Did he run lines to the panel?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No.
To date, including everything, my parents have paid over $60,000 for a room that we can't use.
First guy gets about 37.
Yes.
Second guy gets about
25,
26.
I go, don't give him anything until you ask him why it was done that way and to fix the stuff that needs to be fixed.
And as soon as I did that, he's like, what's your lawyer's name?
I have never once called a lawyer. As a matter of fact, I've never needed a lawyer.
Once this is done, then we'll give you the money. And if you need to call your lawyer or whatever, so be it. He just came in one day, cleared out everything, took the permit, took the plans, and that's where it is. Don't know where he is, don't know where our money is, don't know where our permit is. You know, he's gone too. Just like the first guy just disappeared.
These guys have had the opportunity to completely rip off a whole family, almost devastate them.
We've had 3 people come to our door saying they haven't gotten paid. We had the stucco people saying they didn't get paid. We get the drywall people knocking at our door.
Nobody's been paid here except for the first and second contractor.
That's
Yes.
right. The roofers are the only ones that haven't come knocking on our door, but they were pretty intimidating looking guys, so I don't think he wanted to mess with them.
I think we have a lot more problems here than we first expected. The heating's wrong, the electrical's wrong, we have issues with structure. First thing I see, I haven't even been underneath this yet. We are going to do one hell of a lot of damage. I've got to pull this wall down. I want nothing to do with mold in here. I'm going to check out the insulation in here, the insulation underneath, the structure underneath. Again, same thing up there. You know what? Me and my guys are going to put this back together and give you what you should have had in the first place.
Thank you so much.
You're extremely welcome, and you know
Thank you,
what?
sir.
You both deserve it. You're a big guy. I wouldn't have messed with you. These guys are foolish.
Yes, but I'm a law-abiding citizen.
It was raining in the kitchen. It was raining in our bedroom. He said, I'd like to help you, but we haven't been paid.
Nobody's been paid here except for the first and second contractor.
That's
Yes.
right.
This is the addition, the crap that they did. Look at this. We have a foundation wall on the left side. Dug down, I think it's 6 feet deep. Only on the left side. The rest is on pillars. So why they do that, I don't know. Why am I seeing outside light?
I think the magnetic properties of this are gone.
Yeah, we don't want to paint our weather stripping, and that should be magnetic, and it's not.
That's right.
You know, it looks sort of deceiving that way, because it looks half decent, except for little areas like this. Here we see we have a lot of issues with the moisture. We even have the mold build up here, so I want to lose this wall completely. I want to see it right in there. Let's try not to cut the vapor barrier. I want to go out in the hallway here. I also want to take down this wall, because again, we have the mold on here, which tells us the wind, you know, anything to do with the outside. I want to see what the water damage has done. I'll wait for it to warm up a bit outside before I go downstairs. Then might as well start by cleaning this up and start ripping it down. What's missing here, buddy?
Primer
Primer.
on the wall.
No primer. Primer seals the drywall. Paint bonds to the primer.
right.
Without primer, it does not bond. I want to pull the wall down just to A, inspect the insulation, B, see if we do have any mold in here, which I'm assuming we're going to find some.
Kind of feels kind of damp.
It's extremely damp. There's been so much moisture in here.
Drywall is usually dry. This is kind of clumpy.
Let's pull that baseboard, guys. They just happened to leave some nails along the way here. We can see how much water came in here. The rest of the nails are completely here.
We should have a nice bead of acoustical sealant there. Would be nice,
Well, that's the way it should be.
especially on a.
So they cut the plastic high rather than keeping it down low, putting in that acoustic sealant and then drywalling it down.
Makes it easier for them.
Was that ever wet, eh? Shows that they were proper in here. They have their jack stud, their king stud. So they goofed on the window sizes. Obviously, they bought just pre-cut sizes rather than having custom made. We show an R20 insulation. That's what I want to see. We have a 6 mil vapor barrier. However, we have one hell of a lot of water here. We have mold starting on the back of the drywall. Takes no time. We don't have any caulking on the outside of this window, which they should have done as soon as they installed these windows. Water's a major issue coming in here. This is why we're gonna pull down this whole wall. This is so soft. I mean, when you can take drywall and almost bend it up like that, it shows how wet it is. It's extremely wet from moisture.
We've got water inside over here, Mike.
Look at that, eh? 2 months. Look at the wood. Soaked. No, this is not mold. This is just saturated. At this point, we're okay for the lumber, but it is soaking wet. Why is it that our drywall is so damp? Okay, we have a moisture issue in here. We do not have proper heat coming in here. We have moisture coming in through the windows. We are creating condensation in this addition. Let's take a cut across the ceiling here so we don't affect the ceiling at this point. I mean, who knows? We could end up gutting this whole friggin' thing. Look how soft that is. It's ridiculous. Even mold on the top. I don't like that. Look at this. I don't like that at all. See how we see the moisture up here? I don't want to see that at all. Not a good sign. We have a major moisture buildup in the attic, which would explain the frosting that we saw on the bottom side of the sheeting. No vents, more than likely insufficient or improper insulation methods.
Yeah, if we don't
I
have
don't think we do.
circulation, then that's where it's going to collect, right along there, all the way around. and then it's gonna weep down and all the drywall is gonna be soaking wet.
I'm starting to think of taking all the drywall down. Hey, Keith.
Mike, how are you?
Oh, I've been better.
Yeah.
Here we go, again that I'm coming into hell zone. We have a major moisture issue here. We are seeing all kinds of water come in around the windows. So we have 3 runs total underneath the window on that side, 2 here, no heating at all in the walk-in closet. And they tied in, they tapped off the line in the bedroom, they tapped off the line in the kitchen.
Definitely have to get cold air return into this room.
Yes.
For sure.
Where would you say is the best spot over here, maybe?
Definitely put in 2 with a cold air return with a damper in the bottom so we can open and close it for the season.
Okay.
In the summertime, we want the cooling. The cooling is going to stay low, so we'll damper it off here and have the cold air return suck it in from the top to help raise the cold air up. In the wintertime, we'll reverse that, and the hot air wants to rise, and we'll have a cold. We'll open up this damper down here and have the warm air drawn down into the bottom. That's the way to do it. If I touch the existing ductwork in this house...
You have to make the change in plans.
To the whole house. Every line that's touched that ductwork, I have to change it and make sure it's the right size.
Okay, so if you go off the furnace...
Right off the
branch,
plenum, running off another probably 8x8 duct and dedicate my 3 lines to that, I know I've heated this addition. So this is our supply, that's our return air. We have to come right off of here.
tied in, obviously this line here.
So I definitely have to get a whole new run somewhere around here so I can tie on those 3 runs and then get cold air returned back. How in the hell am I going to do that?
Welcome to my world.
Oh man. Obviously we have to make sure it's insulated, ductwork.
Well, we're going to go underneath this and we're going to inspect that to see what we're going to be into to get this tied in. We do not want to see vapor barrier underneath. We have vapor barrier on the floor, vapor barrier underneath, nothing but a trapped moisture zone. There should be a webbed area. We want the vapor barrier on the warm side, not the cold side. Look at how I see daylight on the other side. These morons. So they have bad insulation that falls out. I didn't touch this. We have insulation that's supposed to be on the skirted wall here, and it's just sitting there. Oh my God, look at that. See that one column there? They had to do 2 columns because they missed it. The saddle right here is up out of the concrete holding this up, and they pulled it. You can see they pulled it out of the concrete to meet it because they blew it. See, I was just talking to the inspector. Oh God. The last time he was here, all he saw was structure, and he wasn't happy with the structure, so they went ahead and insulated, vapor barrier, drywall it, closed it in without permission. We're gonna pull down all kinds of drywall. We're gonna, how many times I gotta do this? This is getting ridiculous. Here's our ductwork. Well, they should have wrapped all this. I mean, we have pipe wrapping. Here's where they tied in. Here's where it goes into the house.
Well, what we're hoping to do, Mike, is cut a hole right in that concrete and get a brand new 8x8 duct right in here through the laundry room.
Okay.
Supply air and cold air return.
All right.
We'll get it in here. We'll tie up all new ductwork in here. We'll wrap it up with an R12.
Okay.
And that'll be it. We'll be in and out.
Now, I'm worried about electrical. I see the HV wrong. I see the insulation wrong. I see the structure wrong. I know it wasn't a licensed electrician. A plug, minimum, every 12 feet. We don't have it. It's lunchtime. I want the whole inside wall down. Okay, all the drywall, let's lose all the trim. Let's lose this complete wall, the whole ceiling. Let's leave all partition walls up at this point. Sandy. Alfonso.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Nice to see you guys again. Damn good. We have a few problems here. I have a major concern that our tie into the house is not the way we want it. But I'll show you the switch over.
Okay.
See, this is why I'm here. Right? Nice. This is why I'm here.
Is there nothing down by the panel?
I don't know. Let's go take a look. Let's see where they might be bringing in electrical. I'm telling you, I can't find anything. There's no way they ran a line. This is on the opposite side of the house.
This is an old fuse panel. We'd have to take a look upstairs where the line's coming out, because it doesn't look like anything's coming in here.
They tied in illegally. So they've run it up through the attic.
It looks like there's open wiring coming from an existing box. They've tied into an existing circuit, which already probably has very close to the maximum of number of outlets, 12. So what they've done here is they've added probably another 10 outlets. They have grounding with no morettes on it. Okay, they just stuck this all inside the wall. If you look at that box, it's just floating inside there. And that's got a line coming in and going out, so that won't be a separate circuit for sure. All electrical has to be accessible, and this definitely wouldn't have been accessible because it's buried inside the wall. And then because of the new code that came in about a year ago, And this being a bedroom, you have to arc fault these devices, and they could not have done this, wiring it this way.
Hey, Alfonso, what do we have here? No, that's definitely not the code. That is not good.
So, I mean, you know what? I'm putting in a bigger panel so I can probably tie it all into there, clean it all up.
Yeah, since we're here. Because you can that way just feed through, right?
Feed through, and I mean, I'm 3 feet away. I meet the height requirement. It's just that shelf with all the shampoo bottles and stuff. It's gonna have to go.
Let's make it so.
All right, thank you.
It's like they did the same thing on this window as they did on the other ones. It's so damp it doesn't want to break. No.
What do you think of the drywall, Sean?
Well, I just noticed something. You can compare this drywall. Well, actually, this is a little damaged too, but I don't know. That's a little more
It's
like
white. You see a really big comparison there. Okay, it's just soap.
Yeah.
Inspector wants to see it. We're gonna show him. We're gonna get everything taken down, drop that in the bin, finish off the electrical. Then I'm bringing Alex in to spray foam the bottom base area. Eventually we'll work on the outside, but I want to get it nice and warm on the inside and get ready to drywall again. I think we should make sure we just cleaned up our area first, get rid of our tools, and then we'll go to it. There you go. I don't want to pull this wall down, but if I look at the drywall, it's pretty gray. In this case, we've had 2 months with a lot of moisture. We've already shown mold on one side of it. A lot of times you will see drywallers wet the back of the drywall to maybe make it go round, like for a round staircase or something. That's a 1 day wet, dries. This is 2 months of heavy duty moisture. This way, the inspector gets to come in and gets to do a full inspection on it. He feels better, I feel better, the owners will feel better. We should open it up, inspect everything, make sure it's right. And it makes his day when he gets to see everything and know, okay, it's right, close it up. What I see, this is okay. This is not bad. We do see moisture inside the plastic there. You see the water? That's why we're taking it down. We see a lot of moisture up there at this point. It's all across the top, and that's because that attic is just holding it tight. Oh, water. Look at the water. See what I'm talking about?
side door.
Look at the moisture up in here. Now it's on this side. Only probably because it's coming through the staple holes. You know, if it was summer, we'd all be in shorts right now, loving our jobs, but no, it's gotta be a lousy, cold day. Doesn't help with all this water and moisture. And is this gonna do anything? There's the attic, okay, full of moisture at this point, not down the wall. This is all new, but they didn't bring it down the wall. Ridiculous. We did not cut this, okay? This is not joined in. That's why we're seeing so much moisture come down. Look at the water buildup inside this attic. And what's it gonna do to our drywall? Mold. In 6 months, there'd be so much mold inside this addition that everyone living in here would be sick. This is called vapor barrier, okay? Vapor barrier, stopping vapor is the point. Why didn't they make that plastic run down the wall and tuck tape it? This is just idiotic. They didn't plastic first and then build the wall. This just shows we have an improper seal here. We may have to pull this wall down. And that one. See how this is done? This is not gonna work.
Oh man, okay.
We'll take all this down, take it all down.
The fact that he was as disgusted as we were confirmed to us that this is somebody who's gonna actually help us. That's probably our main comfort, is that he actually cares about what he does.
For the first time in, I'd say about 6 months, I felt like I could see the light at the end of the tunnel.
When they built this wall, they put up a strip of plastic across the top, which gives us a vapor seal on top of the wall.
He said, you know what, 2 weeks from the day we start, we're gonna have it ready. And I said, don't tease me because that's not right. But he's stuck to his word, and they've been here and they've been working away.
On this side, they pull the plastic up, they tuck tape it, which is proper. On this side, the tuck tape's down, they bring the plastic over and tape it. Look at the water we're seeing. It's coming in.
Every day is like Mike tells us there's something new that's wrong. How can these people stay in business is what I don't understand. They go around ripping families off. You know that this is a room for our baby, and they really don't care.
I've decided now to gut it. We're gonna take down all the drywall, and we're gonna do it again.
Can't believe that somebody'd actually take people's money and then do this kind of job. A home in itself is a huge investment, something that can ruin people.
We went to a lawyer. Lawyer says, oh, call him back. The best thing to do is get him to finish the job. Well, you know what? In a way, I'm glad he didn't come back because it was wrong to begin with.
It's a shame, all this money, all this work, it's ruined by a couple of dogs.
We just want a normal room.
Someplace comfortable, warm.
We didn't ask for anything big.
No,
We don't want no big skylights or big balconies or anything, just a regular room. And we thought, hey, okay, you pay them the money, why wouldn't they do a good job? And this has taught us that, well, you know what? There's a lot of criminals out there.
Yep.
And they're legal. They're legal criminals because they get away with it.
If Mike hadn't come along, I don't know what we would have done.
I feel good. I feel excited that the room's actually going to get done. And not just that it's going to get done, but it's going to get done properly.
In no time before you have your own bedroom, you get to play in your own little bed. I gotta go back to work, okay?
If I touch the existing ductwork in this house,
You have to make the change in plans.
to the whole house, we have to come right off of here. So I definitely have to get a whole new run somewhere around here so I can tie on those 3 runs and then get cool air returned back. How in the hell am I gonna do that?
I guess I should go downstairs and deal with the heating guys. Remove the cupboard that's in the way, clear the path for them to start running the line. Yeah, what they're gonna do, they're gonna take the void over this door, come out with the main duct through the void at the top, drop down, come right across here with the new 8x8 main trunk line, which will feed the addition right out under the floor, and they'll take off of that and go up. As well as beside that will be a return air vent.
To utilize the existing ductwork in the house to heat this addition. They stole from Peter to pay Paul, and we have to reconnect the existing ductwork and then get some new ductwork into the addition.
They did what you're not supposed to do. Imagine that line is designated to a certain square feet of room. So when they tie into that and try and take it out into the cold zone, not only is it cold by the time it gets out there, but now the room that they stole from loses at least half of what normally goes there. It's amazing why they didn't do this. They saved themselves probably in the area of $20,000 because they didn't do it. Thanks, guys. Just extra work for Mike. This will be big enough for the duct lines now.
We need 2 circuits for this room.
Yeah.
One for the bedroom, another circuit for that.
Okay.
Okay. And then because there's no room on the fuse panel, we're gonna have to eliminate the dryer from there, so I
Right.
can use this, and refeed the dryer, which would probably be like 3-4 feet away from the actual panel.
Okay.
Brand new line, and refeed the air conditioning.
Now we have to go through all this work simply because the other contractor did not realize that the panel at the front of the house is completely loaded. So now we've got to run a whole new feed line from the front of the house to the back and put in a pony panel to supply the power to this addition. The whole outside void skirt area we will insulate, plus the bottom of the floor joist area.
Yep, floor joist, and then we'll just wrap it back up into the floor area there. So if there's any kind of air leakage up there, we get that. And then this existing walls from the house here, we're going to tie that back into there as well. So that way, if there's any air leakage that's coming around the outside there, we got that as well. Comfort is really what we're after.
I spoke to the inspector about turning this into a warm zone, and there's a lot of controversy about what you have to do in a crawl space, whether it's warm or cold. Well, as far as I'm concerned, right now I'm going to spray foam everything nice and tight, and when the inspector comes back, we'll talk then. Floor joists, the engineered floor joists are supposed to be directly out straight and then the roof peak on top, but he cut these.
Yeah.
So now we have to get some 3/4 inch plywood, we'll glue it, nail it, we'll beef up that end. Well, the idea of the floor joist is to be straight and vertical. It's supposed to be like an I-beam, okay? Well, really, they're not meant for roofs, but because we have a 20-foot span here, it was accepted by the government to say, okay, let's make sure that we make this stronger. Well, as soon as you cut it on an angle, what you're doing is you're taking away from the strength of the I-beam being vertical. And on an angle now, it's putting too much stress on the bottom. Really 2x2 here. It's just putting way too much stress. So we have to sandwich it up with plywood and beef up these ends to keep it strong at the end. The plan showed straight end and then the rafters over top. All they had to do was get themselves an end plate on it and then bring the rafters over the end plate, but they did not do that. They closed in this place without calling the inspector, which is totally against code. And, the inspector has the total right to say, take it all down because I want to see it. I didn't do it again. You don't do that. You want to call them in progress. He wants to see framing, then he wants to see insulation, then he wants to see it finished. That's simple as that. This This was a great design for creating airspace. What I've chosen is to go 3 bays at a time, so every third bay I'm putting in a baffled. And the way these work, you gotta love it because it gives you 1.5 inches of airspace. It keeps this off the sheeting of the roof and gives you that zone that you need to breathe from outside air to the vents. So it keeps fresh air in the attic and stops the moisture buildup that we saw when we first came in here. It is extremely important we have air ventilation in the attic. As we pull this down, we see that they've taken the bad insulation and completely sealed off this void. What that does is creates no airflow in there whatsoever. And what happens? We saw it. It was frozen on the bottom of the sheeting. We had dripping water coming in through the plastic. Why? Because we contained the moisture. Because of that, we're now going to rot the roof rafters, the sheeting, everything's going to fall apart within about 20 years. So we have to make it breathe. Yet we want to keep it warm on the inside. This is why we do the bad insulation, the vapor barrier, continuous on the warm side, breathable above. You do that, we have no problems with the rafter. Constantly breathes and it'll last a hell of a lot longer. You know, the funny thing is it only took me, 15 minutes to do this. Every third bay, wasn't a lot of money. That way we balance it. We want that circulation of fresh air. Hey, Stevie, nice to see you again.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for coming by. I put in the baffles every 3 and 4 rafters, so I've made up a map as to where they are. 2 vents good for this size, 440 square feet.
Yeah, you know what, maybe 3. I got a box. So.
Well, we have 3 peaks, right? We'll put 1 in each peak.
Actually, ideally, they should all be on the same side. But being 3-sided, maybe 2 and then 1 on the back.
All right. If you wanted to start the vents first.
Sure.
Hopefully you can get up there. I don't know what the snow is like.
Yeah, it should be all right. It's an easy push.
For guys that cannot follow a simple architectural drawing made by a moron, everybody hired on this job didn't know what they were doing, and that's what just drives me insane. It's like, get this. The inspector comes in here today, we take out a measuring tape, we measure from this wall to the inside wall. This addition is supposed to be 20 feet. It is 22 feet. They didn't even follow the plan the guy made. The inspector can say, take it down, or stop the work and you gotta put in a variance. You gotta change the plans. It shows 20 feet, not 22 feet. What, they forget the measuring tape? I love these guys. I have fun with these guys. This is why I love my job, man. You know, we work, we play, we laugh. Once in a while we get pissed off. How we doing, guys?
We're getting there. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Not so bad.
We're pretty much in there. We got a few more hours out there, but we'll get it done.
Oh, you out there?
A couple of hours in there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, we got a cold air return also. We got 7-inch round pipe that we're going to bring right beside it, come up, around through here, and also connect it into the cold air return. Now we got full circulation for this addition.
Well, once you're done here, I'll get that all insulated, so don't worry about that.
Oh, fantastic. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Take care. What we're looking at is a drive joint. It's also referred to as a seat connection. All we're doing is sliding her up into place. We got another type of joint here, which is called the S-cleat. And the S-cleat just holds the 2 pieces of metal together. You slip her in place. The drive cleat locks it in place. It's not going anywhere. All we're doing here is leveling off the air duct, keeping it nice and straight for aesthetics. It has nothing to do with airflow or anything like that. We're just trying to make it look pretty.
What they had here definitely didn't meet code.
We're actually adding 2 vented panels per side to give about a total of 12, which is the number of baffles that were put in. There should be a little bit more intake than exhaust. That way it just allows to draw up through the attic better.
The drywall guys are here, so we're just trying to jump ahead as fast as possible to get this done so they can start drywalling. Guys can start bringing in a drywall and pounding it right in the floor there if you don't mind. We had the opportunity to lay it like wallpaper, so let's take our time, the know-how, and lay it so we don't have crinkles. Exterior wall, we want a plastic wrap behind the box so we have no air coming in through the electrical box, so we cut a small slit in our vapor barrier. We pull this out, we'll trim it, we'll tuck tape around it. I personally like to do the walls first, and that way we can do the ceiling and bring it down to the wall and tuck tape it across. Normally I would cut this in just across and I would wrap the plastic in the frame. If they have that in there, it's a good thing, so now I'm just cutting it out And what I wanted to do, if you notice I'm cutting it on the inside of the window frame, when they drywall, it pulls that. So I put a small pierce in the corner like this. What that allow is that plastic to go like that, and they can drywall it. What the acoustic caulking does, it stops any draft from coming underneath the bottom plate. We seal the plastic to the floor. It's great practice to make sure you do this. A lot of zones we get the cool air coming from the outside would be your receptacles, any outside plug, light, or bottom plate or top plate. In this case, we've wrapped our ceiling down, tuck tape, we eliminate that zone. We eliminate this zone by just doing this. These guys are flying like crazy because they know what they're doing. They're gonna throw these sheets up, they're gonna nail the outside perimeters. Somebody will come back later on and screw to the existing joists on the center bases. The idea is to stagger the joints the way they're doing it. You don't want a continuous butt joint with a plaster. This way they'll flare it out, it's gonna look great. This is your standard 1/2-inch drywall. We have a blue edge. Ceiling drywall has a purple edge. It's 1/2 inch. It's a higher density material, so when you're 24-inch on center and we have a lot of pressure off that R30 insulation coming through, it's more or less more rigid, more strength. So what's gonna happen is after it's plastered, you're not gonna see it bow down like this. If you have a ceiling that does that with a 24-inch on center span, you know they used the wrong drywall. That's a smart move. Jump ahead and use your marker and mark for the joists. He's gonna cut his sheet, put it up there, and boom, he knows exactly where the joist is.
So we've got the supplier hooked up right to the plenum. All we have to do now is hook up the 7-inch cold air return. Same concept as water. Imagine you filling that building up with water. Once it's filled up with water, you can't get any more water in there. It's the same with air. You fill this building up with air, you can't get any more air in there. So you have to return it, get it back, keep nice circulation. We've got it all crisscrossing up through here to give them a little headroom. So we've got another hour or two in the crawl space. That's it, we're all done. We're finished, the last connection's been made. We're out of here, man.
Does this look good or what? We now have dry drywall, not wet. It's damn good. We're gonna finish this up today and we'll be back in tomorrow to do some taping? Yes. Dave, thank you so much. Derek, thank you again. That's a tile job. Look at that. It's gonna come together. Last day, lots of people here. It's a circus. Today we have everyone in. We have painters. We have electricians coming in. We are gonna finish all the trim work. The carpet guy's going in, so we gotta clean the floor. We paint the ceiling pink.
No, the ceiling's actually white. We're using CIL Smart Paint. What it does, it goes on pink, dries white. It makes it a lot easier to see where we've painted. When you go over a white ceiling, it's very difficult because you can't tell where you've rolled. So this makes it really easy.
Excellent. We have 2 vents that we have to put in, one on the outside in the skirt on the side here, one in the front here. That gives us a little bit of air circulation inside, much like the attic. We've had a little bit of controversy underneath with inspectors and with different ways of doing it. To code, what we have to do is keep it a cold zone. Anytime a crawl space is turned into a hot area, it has to be the same code as inside your homes. And we balance the act by doing a spray foam on the outside, which is going to help keep that cold out. It's not going to be a warm crawl space, that's for sure, but it's not going to be a freezing cold one either. But it's considered a cold zone. With an R12 wrap around all the duct work, an R25 in the floor. Then we're gonna take a construction grade outside material such as Tyvek, Typar, it doesn't matter. We're going to strip the bottom of it to hold the insulation in. And this is a breathable product which will not create moisture. The carpet guys, they're coming to do their job. It isn't their job to clean the floor, so they're gonna lay down the under padding, they're gonna lay down the carpet regardless. We're gonna make sure we scrape the floor, give it a vacuum. If we don't, the dust is gonna come up through it. So let's get it clean and we'll have a perfect finish. You wanna make sure you bring in the pros when you're gonna carpet. You can get it as long as you want, but the width is the issue. It's only 12 feet wide. This room's more than 12 by 12, so that means we're gonna have a join. And he's gonna use a roll finder to create a straight line between the piles. we definitely want an invisible seam. Because this carpet doesn't have a pattern, it makes it a lot easier. With a little bit of wax and iron and in trimming shears, this looks great.
When you use Decora style switches and plugs, that means that the homeowner or the customer paid for an upgrade. So you want it to make it look like they're getting what they're paying for. When you put plates on, if you keep all your screws like this or half like that, it doesn't look professional. Little details that makes it look a little bit neater.
Look at that lighting, isn't that nice? Carpet, electrical. Gotta love it. I waited till it was a little warmer. I'm using a demonic caulking, which is an industrial caulking. It's for commercial work. But I like it simply because it is a 20-year guarantee, and if I'm gonna put up caulking against stucco and a brick, I want it to be a very, very good caulking. What this will do is stop any of the airflow, cold air coming inside. And this is something you want to do anytime you want to do caulking. You want to do caulking around the doors, around the windows. Stop the rain from coming in, the cold breeze from coming in. Number one, the cold breeze. This is paintable. We don't have too many choices of color. I like the stucco. This is a perfect job. I understand they want their money. 10% was originally given to the lawyer because of the issues they had here, and the idea was that had the first contractor finished the job, which he wasn't going to, he would have gotten his 10%. So now, really, because he didn't pay the subs, at least that 10% will go to the people that did the stucco work. They're willing to accept $2,700 and walk away, so it's fair. By rolling the cartridge at the end, it keeps it from bundling up, so it finishes it where I want it to stop. It's a shame that these guys that came in to do the stucco and the drywallers, because both of them didn't get paid, it's a shame that they didn't see it and know that they're dealing with a couple of con artists. You got a beautiful father that helped finance this from day one, and all he wanted to do was make a life easier for him, his daughter, his granddaughter, and his new son-in-law. He's a genuine gentleman. Can you imagine that a contractor has the ability to financially bankrupt families? That's wrong. Something has got to be done. In 2 minutes, we're gonna go get the homeowners and show them their new addition.
I can't even tell you how many times I cried. It was 6 months of pure agony. It's nice to finally feel a positive experience after all these months.
Come on, take a look.
Oh my.
Wow.
This is your hallway.
This is beautiful.
Is this the same place? Wow.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Wow.
So we've gone oak on the floors, ceramic at the entrance. We've gone all new trim. As a matter of fact, we actually end up gutting everything.
Wow.
We had so many issues with the water. We had so many issues with structure that it just ended up being that we have to gut everything. And how you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
You ready to come see this addition?
I am a little bit nervous, but happy, no?
Happy nervous?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. All new handles on the doors. Now you can select your closet organizers, take your time. That way it gives you the space you need, just for you. Just for you. The drywallers did a fabulous job. We went nuts doing all the trim on the doors. And it's kind of warm in here, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't that phenomenal? We actually have heat.
Yes.
I like the light you chose.
Wow.
Wow.
So beautiful, look.
Wow.
Well, as you can tell, we've done a few changes. As we started taking down the drywall, we started noticing that it was completely saturated. This was due for a couple of reasons. One, they didn't have any vents in the attic whatsoever, and they blocked off all the soffit on the outside. So what that does is trap the cool and moist air in the attic, and it froze the attic. It saturated the drywall, so we end up gutting everything. Right back to studs. That's when we noticed the structure was incorrect. We had to beef up the engineered floor joist that they put in the ceiling. We just wood cladded the ends of it to make it safe, make it right, and it was accepted by the inspector. They had tied all your heat lines into your existing. We brought in the right people. He did all the calculations, and we were able to come off your furnace with a main trunk, come through the wall, bring it right in, all new lines. We had to wrap them with R12 insulation. We spray foamed the outside wall. We gave 2 air vents because we had to keep it to a cold zone. We give you a high return and a low return. And the idea behind this really is for summer and winter. So in the winter, you want to have the bottom open. What that's going to do is pull the cool off the floor and allow the heat to stay in. In the summer, you're going to close this one and you're going to open up this one, okay? And that's going to suck the hot air out and keep the cool air in.
So beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful.
We have your walk-in closet.
Wow.
You get a proper access to the attic.
You even moved
Look at that.
Do you like it, Bella? Do you like it?
Beautiful.
So we brought our electricians in. We fed a whole new line to the panel right up through the attic and brought you in a pony panel in the laundry room. So we've made it safe and sound. You like it?
Bella's happy.
She likes it. I like it. Can you fathom the thousands of emails? I mean thousands of emails that I get of people begging for my help. And they're begging. They're saying, please come help us. We are devastated. We are financially crippled. We cannot finish this. We don't know what to do. It's not anybody's fault. It's the fault of the bad guys. They actually, they did not care. They just came in to take it.
Yes.
And that's a shame.
That's
but
what-
you're a gentleman, I tell you, for just loving your family like this and doing what you could do to work all these years and make this happen for them.
Not for me. Just for special. For the Lord.
For the Bella. Please. I'm not Superman. I am only one contractor. I can't take on the world. I need some help here. I need some help from the government. Can we make changes? We have to make changes. This has to stop. That's what I'm here for. I came here to make this stop. That's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
You got anything to say? No?
You're welcome.
It just restores your faith in people again. I don't even have the words to say like how grateful we are.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's wonderful meeting beautiful people like you. Beautiful people. So welcome. And you. My
Bless you.
My wildest dream. I wouldn't have imagined it looked this good. Not only are you a builder, but you're also an interior designer. A little plus.
Now that's a compliment.
For a rugged truck driving guy, he has a dump inside.
Take it easy.
All right. Bye, Mike.
Bye-bye.